Amelia Earhart's equatorial flight around the world was to have been her last great aerial adventure. It was her final fling at spectacular flying before she decided she wanted to settle down. She confided this to two friends before she started. Amelia left her hometown in New York to start her journey going across the world. On June 1st, she left California, which was her first stop, then to Miami. From there, she used cities near the equator as her guide to make her way across the world. Her next stop was San Juan, Puerto Rico. The weather is usually warm, sunny days, with the average temperature being 80 degrees with 80% humidity. Rainy season has its peak in August and can be extremely heavy. They are vulnerable to hurricanes between August and November. Amelia believes San Juan was a bright, colorful city with people of great hospitality. The governor and other pilots were there to greet her when she landed on the runway. She was determined to visit again because she enjoyed the landscapes and the citizens' leisure and civilized manner. Next was Carapito, then Paramaribo. The average temperature is 81 degrees, with the hottest months being September through November. The wettest weather occurs in May, and there is an average of 237 days a year with precipitation. When she landed, there were all sorts of animals on the runway, and women carrying baskets on their heads who came to greet her. Amelia called it a substantial community with general spick and spanness while still tropical. She said the entire city was filled with friendly people she enjoyed visiting. Next was Fortaleza. Temperatures range from 79 to 82 degrees throughout the year. There's a well-defined wet and dry season, with wet season occurring from February to June. It was a town of 100,000 people. She called it a potent metropolis. She took time off to do some shopping and talk with some fishermen. She saw a custom of women balancing baskets on their heads again. She said it was a businesslike and bustling town, but abounds in contrast. Natal was the next city. Average temperature is 75 degrees with a concentration of rain from March to July. She called Natal one of the most cosmopolitan and multilingual cities of our hemisphere. She said everyone there cooperated very generously. She said the way the houses were built out of adobe gave vivid color to the landscape. The people gave Amelia presents before she left. Her next stop was Dakar. The average temperature is 72 degrees, with the hottest months being July through October and the coolest months being January to March. The driest weather is in March and the wettest weather occurs in August. Amelia said there was a certain smell in Africa, that there was a strong human tang of people much different from the aromas of South American cities. She called Africa an amusing, friendly riot of adorning, good-natured, ebony people. She called the men handsome and intelligent and said the women had miraculous clothing and jewelry. She then went to St. Louis and then to Gao. There is a hot and dry climate with rainfall only occurring between June and September, with August being the wettest month. May is the hottest month with record temperatures of 109 degrees. She said it was an important city and political center for West Sudan. There were ruins of ancient Gao such as pyramid ruins. The city contained trans-Saharan motor traffic from the north, which was a transport of increasing importance. She then went to Niamey and then to Zinder. The average temperature is 75 degrees, with a concentration of rain occurring from March to July. She then went to Chad and El Fasher and ended in Khartoum. It has a hot desert climate with only significant precipitation in July and August. One of the hottest cities in the world, with temps exceeding 127 degrees in the summer and an average temperature of 99 degrees. She said the first half was utterly flat, arid, uninhabited, and lacks landmarks altogether. She stopped to pay her respects to the British officials located there, and was happy to hear people of a common language. Her next stop was Massawa, and from there she went to Asab. It has a high summer humidity and the annual temperature one of the hottest in the world, with temperatures over 100 degrees. There is not much precipitation, and the wettest month is January with 5 days of rain. Amelia said the coast was barren beyond description. Communication from Asab to another country took over a day to receive. Her next stops were in Aden, then Gwadar, and then finally Karachi. It has an arid and mild climate with mainly summer and winter seasons, summer being the longest season. Precipitation is low for most of the year, but there is monsoon rains from July to September. Flying by foreigners over Arabia was not welcomed. She had to make a new flight plan to get to Karachi, but after talking with the people, she was given permission by them to fly the route that they made for her. She called the people friendly and cooperative. She then flew from Allahabad to Calcutta. It has a wet and dry climate with the average temperature being 80 degrees. Winter occurs only for 2.5 months, and during the summer there are dusty squalls followed by spells of thunderstorms and heavy rains. There she saw vast plains and many colored cultivation. She also saw the metropolis with factories, mills, and many villages. She then flew to Akyab. From there she went to Myanmar, and finally she went from Bangkok to Singapore. It has a tropical rainforest climate with no distinct seasons. Its climate is characterized by high temperature, pressure, humidity, and abundant rainfall. On the island she saw the vast harbor filled with ships of all kinds in every port. It was the crossroad of trade with Europe, Africa, India, Australia, China, and Japan. Her next stop was Darwin. It has a tropical savanna climate with distinct wet and dry seasons. There is very little rainfall between May and September, but there is wet season between December and March, where there is tropical cyclones and monsoon rains. In Darwin she saw endless trees and plains. She visited Port Darwin, which was not an industrial town but mainly a government post. From Darwin she went to Leh, and her final trip was after that. This city was the headquarters for the Guinea Airway Company. Here they transported a lot of mining equipment into their gold fields. She said the men in this country were engaged in chores in and outside of their homes, so she saw very little of them. Amelia's final flight was from Leh to Howland Island on July 2nd. It was a route never traveled by airplane before. Sailors and coast guards continued to look out for Amelia after takeoff, but she never landed and was never found.